That worked a lot better than I expected it to. Either way, you guys read the title of the video. We're gonna get to that in a little bit. We're gonna do a little bit of a skateboarding session now and just have a little fun.
You're a rich girl and you're gone too far, cause you know it don't matter anyway.
It don't matter, bitch.
You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. It's a bitch girl, but it's gone too far, cause you know it don't matter anyway.
I feel you.
Say money.
I always forget to touch on the importance of stretching before you skate. Believe me, guys, it's more important than it sounds. You may not believe how important stretching is now, but one day you'll sprain an ankle and you'll come back to thank me.
Yo.
Skirt on the host. Got a lot of fools, I ain't worried about them, no. Early blue moon plus that double M loop. Coming out the booth, still smelling like booth. True. And everything cool. Instagram bitches always trying to play cute. You know what hoes be like? The hoes be like, I'm like.
It hurts, you know gangsters go to jail, gangsters don't tell, gangsters move that pack that the gangsters sell. I'm a dog pound gangster from the DPG, with Wale, corrupt that nigga DNC. I'm from 21st and Locust where we gotta stay focused, keeping it real, homie.
Peekaboo! What's going on, guys? We're in the studio today and we're going to talk about why your skateboard bearings break. We're on a squeaky chair, but we're going to start with number one. Before we jump any further, I just want to let you guys know that I'm not a pro, I'm not an expert, I'm not a magical genius with all the answers, but I just experienced a problem at the skate park that I don't want you to ever experience, so hopefully I can help you by showing you what happened to me. You can learn from it and we can go from there. The reason skateboard bearings are dying on us is because we didn't install them properly and they're cheap. Most of us have a T-tool, and that's the only tool that's sitting in our bag if we have a tool at all. Now, if I asked you how often you use your bearing press tool, you'd look at me with a face like, I use my bearing press tool all the time. What's a bearing press tool? Two big core skateboarding brands, Bones and Independent Trucks, they both sell bearing presses online. Actually, I stand corrected. CCS also sells a bearing press for $55. It's as simple as the name goes. It's just a tool that helps press your bearing in or take your bearing out. Most people just use a pen to pop their bearings out when they need to, or they just press them in with their thumbs. It does the same exact job. I understand why they made the tool, because it makes the job a little bit easier, and that's why you should use it, just because then you know your bearing is all the way in, and that's what I had the problem with. My bearings weren't all the way in, even though I thought I pressed them all the way in. My thumbs just hurt and I gave up. This led to the problem of them eventually breaking, because the friction eventually winded them out of the wheelbase, and that's what causes a bearing to break. Now you're still wondering, I definitely installed my bearings correctly. I didn't have a problem. I used a bearing press tool. They went all the way in. Why did they still break? Your bearings definitely broke because they were cheap. I've done a comparison between Cell Prime's bearings by Original Skateboards. Favorite company ever. The bearings just didn't live up to the name. I'm sorry. Now, when I set my skateboard up not too long ago, I got Cell Primes from Original Skateboards. They're equivalent to Bones Reds, and they're not as good as Bones Swiss, but this is where it comes in. Unfortunately, with cheaper bearings, they're not sealed as properly as bearings that are like ceramics or Swiss. And although this isn't necessarily your fault, because not everybody can afford to buy exclusive top-tier bearings like Swiss and ceramic, we sometimes have to settle for Bones Reds or something that is just the base level value, because it gets the job done, and that's all that really matters, right? It just comes down to you pay for what you get. In my case, I kind of bummed out. I got cheaper bearings and I ended up paying the price because they didn't last as long, and it's just better to invest in something that's going to last a lot longer and you won't have to worry about it popping out at the skate park. And that's what I experienced. The bearings quickly popped out after the protection filter that was cheaply made also broke. For the longest time, I was skating without the protection filters over my bearings because they popped out so quickly and I didn't really know what to do. There was no way for me to just install them right back, so I just assumed, okay, it's not that big of a deal. I've seen pros skate without protection filters and they just like how it looks and how it spins, but I just think that was part of the downfall. They were able to pop out a lot easier because there was more friction and rocks able to just go inside the wheelbase when there's no protection filter around it. Bone Swiss, ceramics, the protection filter never popped off. I get these cheaper bearings, pops right off almost immediately, and then I have all these problems, and then they eventually break. And it was mainly my fault because I didn't install them correctly. It seems like almost every single video, if you just don't do what I did, you'll be good. You won't have to worry about a single problem in life. If you just don't do what I did, you'll be great. You'll be golden. I'm hoping this video wasn't too much of a drag for you, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a like. I really appreciate the support. I'll leave a comment on your video if you leave a comment on mine. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.